And that's the other thing that's amazing about Procreate. You don't have to go sit and like mix a palette. You can just take it, the color. And now I'm gonna spread it around into the hair and see if I like the green. And what's cool is I can see them together. I can see them separately. I can go back to just the red. That's nice. I can go back to just the green. But what if it was just both of them together? I'm like, The references that are best are the ones where you can almost see those construction lines before you even do the construction. You can feel the gesture, the wholeness in the image as you look at it. I can feel the top planes. I can feel the side planes. It's clearly designed like an egg once again. But let's see how many circles we can find on her. How many ovals? This is good for rhythm. That's the top plane. And you want to try and feel like your ovals are actually facing a direction. If you just have a flat circle, a flat ellipse, it's a flat shape. So if it's a flat shape, you do a straight line. If it's a round object, you do a curved line. The way things sit on the surface is going to tell you how much form they have. What you know should be happening for perspective is everything should converge. There's a single vanishing point somewhere out here. And that's what makes everything on her feel so well placed and spatially correct. That has perspective. What's another thing that the horizontal line gives us? I mean the vertical center. It tells us how much more we see of this side versus that side. This plane, and then that plane. That's why this is starting so far away, because of this, you have to really travel around. Look at how that's a perfect infinity chiasmic strip. That's interesting. The line of her mouth wrapping around, hitting the ear, the line of the nose. The thing that's weird about her that you immediately notice is that she doesn't feel like a real person. She feels like a statue, and she feels like someone that is too roundish. Everything is so rounded, but that's all on purpose. He fit everything into the round curves. What I just went there, not to the bottom of the eye, I went to the bottom of the eye socket because that feels more important. All of these intervals, these spacings, it just becomes more apparent once you do those lines. That's why it's really useful to do them. Now notice that once we go beyond the horizontal center line, everything starts to curve the other way. Everything now starts to curve that way. And once again, the brows will reach the ears. And you can enhance the curve if you want. You don't have to follow his exactly. If I make my line thick enough, it's like everything was forced into an even cleaner, like the corner of the eye, edge of the nose, corner of the mouth, they all line up. Unified. This is a really nice line that connects the corner of the mouth, top of the ear, where the head starts to turn. He put her into this super neat. Everything's just aligned. How neat is that? All of the shadow shapes, all of them, they're all about the center. where the top of the halo is, where that is, where that is, where everything leads you to the center. All of this is leading you there. That's leading you there. This is a really cool, almost looks like the hemispheres of her brain. Are the corner of her jaw. So that's always an important and a tricky spot to get. The jaw is always really tricky because it's so far from everything else. It's like Hawaii. And you're like, oh, it's hard to relate it to things over here. You have like everything going on here. That's where the party is. And then it's like an ocean. And then you're like, well, how do I get there? And it feels like such a curving, like, how do you turn this slow curving thing into a square, into something with real corners? It's hard to find. It's hard to say exactly where that corner starts. It's like here, like, where does it start? So this is kind of useful because it almost is suggesting a corner. You know that an incredible designer designed this painting. He's likely to have wanted to fit the corner in an elegant spot that aligns with other stuff. Same thing with the cheekbone. We know that the cheekbone has this nice corner, but how are you aware of it when it's just mush? It looks like nothing over there, or the contour of her face here just feels like a curve. There's a spot, there's a clear spot moment where the cheekbone turns down and its outermost is over here. Just using this simple guide suggests to you where things go. He tilted her in just the right way that the cheekbone corner aligns with the jaw corner and the bottom of the nose. So now I can connect these verticals. That's where her neck ends, the ear ends over there. That's where the little corner of the shawl is. Everything turns in that spot. That's where the cheekbone is. This is where all of the planes start to turn a corner. This is starting to go down. This becomes the jaw. That is facing this way. This is facing that way. This is facing that way. That one line where this all begins is the turning of important corners that are invisible to us. If you go to the smallest square, you see where the little halo is just inside of this wall. You never want anything to go outside beyond this space. So you always have these corners pushing our eyes back in. Everything has to push us back in. The halo is within the wall. And these are leading us up there, leading us up there. I could just go back to the previous color I was using instead of trying to match it again. I think I'll just brush it in a little bit. And then I can take my smudging tool and I can go in the opposite direction and just fill it in a little bit more softly that way. I'm gonna take the background color and go in there just to soften it. It's almost an abstract way of working. I'm viewing her as a bunch of abstract splotches of darks. And I just think that those corners are pinching her, framing her, these two dark corners. I'm gonna carve her out from these shapes. Then I do a little bit over here and then I jump to the other side to make sure it's balanced, because I was prioritizing that as well. That on what happens here will also be happening there. What happens here relates to something down there. So I have that in my mind, that's what this painting is about. That's what his painting is about. And so you tell yourself, this copy I'm making isn't about copying exactly what it looks like. It's about understanding his thinking. It's about capturing the strengths of his design, his thought. You can just end up with nothing. You don't even have to have a finished looking product, just the search